Alrighty, Ms. Whitaker back here, and we're going to start with number 25 on the STAR review. These are the weights in pounds of the students who were added to the school soccer team this year. So these are all weights in pounds. So what's the mean weight? Now we got to remember what mean is. Mean is the average. We got to remember how we find average. We add up the data and divide by how many we have. Number of items or number of data. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9. So we're going to add all these up and then divide by 9. So 137, I could just list them right here. 155, 145, 125, 122. Very important to transcribe or put these numbers down correctly. All right, so 5, 10, 12, 14, 19, 24, 29, 36. That's 3, 6, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 1206. So then we're going to go 9 into 1206. 1206 divided by 9. It's going to be 1. 9 into 30 is going to be 3 times. That's 27. And then bring down the 6. 9 into 36 is 4 times. So our average is going to be 134 pounds. That's our mean. All right, there's no way you can guess at this. You have to add them all up and divide by how many that you have. So don't forget, mean, median, mode, and range, all our central tendencies. Make sure you understand what each of them means. And that is a readiness standard. Mean, median, mode, and range. Make sure you know those. All right, number 26 is also a readiness standard. This is the same one. We're dealing with mean, median, mode, and range. It says the following table shows the number of students in attendance at each of the first 6 football games. If 110 students attended the 7th game, right here, 110, which of the following measures for the data set would not change? All right, so we got to put our numbers in order from least to greatest. So number of students would be 72, and then 77, and then 86, and 88, 88, 106, 110. Oops, sorry. Kind of spread out there. All right, what is our, let's start with the easy ones. What's the mode? Mode is 88. Will that change if I add 110? No, that wouldn't change. Would the median change? If the median before the 110 was 87, and now the median is 88, that changes. So it looks like the mode is not going to change. The mode is still 88 before the 110 and after the 110. So that is the only one thing that would not change. I know the mean would change because I'm going up by 3, so I know that's going to affect it. Obviously, it affects the range. Range is greatest minus the least. Mean is your average. Median is the middle value. I got 87 before we put the 110 because it was right in the middle of 86 and 87. It's the average of those two. All right, so the mode's not going to change. Still 88. All right, number 27. 4 classes at Wilton School competed in collecting cans and bottles to recycle. The graph below shows the number of cans and the number of bottles collected by each class. So we have cans, as you can see, in the light color here, and we have bottles in the dark in these different classes here. It says, how many more bottles did Miss Day's class collect than Mr. Gray's class? So how many more bottles did Miss Day's class collect than Mr. Gray's? So bottles, that's the dark one. We need to add all these up. Miss Day's, right here, she's got how many bottles? She's got 140. So Miss Day has got 140. Mr. Gray, we go to Mr. Gray, look at the bottles, and it looks like it's between 60 and 80. So that would be about 70. And so we just do 140 minus 70, and we get our answer there. I know it's not going to be 80 because it would have to be right on the line for it to be 60 and to subtract to get 80. So I know my answer is right. All right, that's number 27, and that is also a readiness standard. Make sure you're able to read a graph correctly. Just spend time on it and don't miss some things. All right, number 28. Tyrone, Rory, Garrett, Luke, Kaya, and Juan decided to go to the Fun for You amusement park on the first day of summer vacation. Yay! They drove there in 3 separate cars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids driving in 3 separate cars. Determine who drove together to the amusement park using this following information. Okay, each car had 2 passengers. All right. Juan was not in the car with Tyrone or Rory. Rory was not in the same car as Kaya. Juan, Kaya, and Luke all drove the cars that they were in. Okay, so here are the drivers. Let's put them first. Juan, Kaya, or Kaya, and Luke. Here's our drivers. Now, what do I know? I know that there's going to be one other person in each of these cars because it said each car had 2 passengers. Juan was not in the car with Tyrone or Rory. And Rory was not in the same car as Kaya. So Rory's not with Juan or Kaya. So Rory goes here. And that means Tyrone has got to be here. And that means Garrett goes right here. So I haven't even looked at my answer choices, and I just wanted to make sure I could figure out where everybody was. So it really, I started with the last clue it gave me to know who the drivers were, and then I worked backwards. So now I'm going to look at which information is correct. Letter A says Tyrone was with Luke. That's not true. Garrett was with Rory. Nope, that's not true. Kaya was with Juan. No, they were both driving, so that's not true either. Juan was with Garrett. Yes. Tyrone was with Kaya. Yes. And Rory was with Luke. Yes, that's true, but I'm going to check D just to be sure. Luke was with Tyrone. No, he wasn't, so that's not true. So this is just a problem solver. So just make sure you have all the clues, and it might take you some time to just study and look at it, but I guarantee if you just start writing down clues, and then you can kind of put the puzzle pieces together. So don't guess on this. You solve it. All right, number 29, it's a readiness standard dealing with graphs. Now this is a scatter plot. Now we haven't talked about scatter plots this year. You will next year. But at least a scatter plot is just a plot of points, and it looks scattered, so there you go. This scatter plot shows the relationship between the number of households in the U.S. and the number of people in the house. So how could you describe this relationship? Now, we got the number of households right here in millions, and then we have number of people in the house. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably more, but I'm sure there's more. But this is just just a basic graph. All right, letter A says there is no relationship between the number of households and the number of people in the households. Letter B, as the number of households increase, the number of people per household also increases. That's not true. They kind of decrease a little bit. Do you see this little line that kind of goes slowly down? So B, I know, is not true. Letter C, as the number of households increase, the number of people per household remains the same. Now, I don't notice a same that would go across like that, so I don't notice that happening, so I'm going to have to rule out C as well. And then it says, as the number of households increases, the number of people per household decreases. That looks to be true. It looks like the number of people kind of decrease. As this gets bigger, this is kind of going lower. So this looks like to be my answer. There's no relationship. I don't know. I can draw a line. I see a pretty good relationship. If there were no relationship, it would be more like just scattered all over, and you couldn't even see that there was any kind of relationship or any kind of connection. So that's what a scatter plot sometimes does. It just explores, is there a relationship between one thing and another? And I'm going to go with D on this one. As the number of households increase, as we get bigger here, what's happening to the households? It's the people in the household. It's going down, and there seems to be a pretty strong relationship there. All right, last question. Number 30 is a supporting standard. Just reading these different graphs. Gina made a double bar graph and a circle graph of the same data, and we just take a look at it. Why does the double bar graph provide more information than the circle graph? So let's just take a look. We got number of books, we got the months, we got boys and girls, we got boys and girls. I can't tell from the circle graph by the month, that's for sure. So let's look at the different answer choices. It compares the number of books read by boys and girls. Well, this compares that too, so I can't say that that's the reason the double bar graph's better. Letter B says it shows changes in the number of books read over time. That's a possibility because I'm going by the months here, and the circle graph certainly doesn't tell me that. Let's look at C. It shows the frequency of books read in intervals. I do not see any intervals. These are just numbers of books, so that doesn't show. And letter D, it represents the number of books read by boys and girls. Well, it does do that. It shows the number of books read by boys and girls, but that does that on the circle graph too. So I can't really say that that is a good reason why it's a bar graph. It shows changes in the number of books read over time. Yeah, December's 10, 15, 15, oop, and then March was a lot. That was the boys. The girls tended to be high and then go down in March where the boys went. So that kind of does show me a lot more information. So we're going to go with B on that one. So make sure you know how to read a graph, different kinds of graphs, and why one is good and one is not so good. There's always a best way. All right, so there's that review. Just email me if you have any questions, and we're going to go over more of this during the class next week and go over more in-depth concepts. But feel free to ask any questions. Circle the ones you're not comfortable with, and we'll talk about them before or after school next week. All right, bye.